Virtual reality can mean many things: hacking into cyberspace, living through an avatar, or questioning what reality really is. In the 1990s, Hollywood explored all of these ideas. Let's take a look at the best virtual reality movies of that decade. Stephen King was so unhappy with this adaptation of his short story that he sued to have his name removed. And it's easy to see why. The film keeps only the title and invents a wild tale about virtual reality experiments gone wrong. Pierce Brosnan plays Dr. Angelo, a scientist who believes he can expand the human mind with a mix of VR and chemicals. After a failed trial on a chimp, he experiments on Job, a simple gardener played by Jeff Fahey. Job's transformation is dramatic, from timid and childlike to confident and brilliant. But the rapid growth of his intelligence soon turns dangerous. Job dreams of leaving the physical world behind and uploading himself into cyberspace, declaring himself Cyber Christ. The film mixes clunky but expensive early CGI with melodrama, gore, and campy dialogue, capturing both the promise and absurdity of 1990s virtual reality on screen. This direct-to-video sci-fi film has more in common with a Sega game than a Hollywood blockbuster, but it carries a certain charm. A group of kids heads to the local arcade to try the newest virtual reality experience. Once inside, they realize the game won't let them go. The twist is that the system is powered by the brain cells of a deceased boy whose ghost now torments anyone who plays. Written by David S. Goyer, Arcade may have clunky effects, but its strange mix of VR thrills and supernatural menace makes it stand out among 90s experiments with the genre. Edward Furlong plays Michael, a teenager obsessed with horror and video games who tries out a new VR title called Brainscan. The game promises to be more real than your reality. Michael is pulled into a world that looks just like his own neighborhood, but here he takes on the role of a killer. Soon, the line between play and reality begins to blur, with disturbing consequences. The story came from Andrew Kevin Walker, who also wrote 7 and 8mm. But the script was changed before filming, adding a hokey Freddy Krueger-style villain that undercut the darker vision. Still, with its early 90s effects and a good dose of suspense, Brainscan remains an enjoyable slice of VR horror. Based on Michael Crichton's novel, Disclosure combines corporate intrigue with an unexpected use of virtual reality. Michael Douglas plays Tom Sanders, a tech executive whose career is thrown into turmoil when his new boss, Meredith Johnson, played by Demi Moore, turns on him and accuses him of harassment. In the third act, the story takes a sudden turn as Sanders enters an experimental VR system to uncover Meredith's plot. Disclosure remains an underrated thriller and a strange time capsule of 90s tech anxiety. Oversized goggles, mechanical keyboards, blocky digital spaces, floppy disks, and CRT monitors feature heavily, making it feel both dated and eerily prescient. Virtuosity blends cyber thriller ideas with the 1990s taste for serial killer stories. A psychotic AI escapes its digital prison, takes human form, and begins terrorizing Los Angeles. Disgraced ex-cop Parker Barnes is released from prison with the promise of freedom if he can track it down. The film is most memorable for its cast. Denzel Washington plays Barnes, while Russell Crowe takes on the role of SID 6.7, an artificial intelligence built from the minds of history's worst killers. Long before his serious Oscar roles, Crowe attacks the part with wild energy, strutting in flamboyant purple suits, hair slicked to the side, and throwing out theatrical taunts. This ambitious sci-fi thriller came with an impressive pedigree, co-written by James Cameron and directed by Kathryn Bigelow. But, like many smart mainstream films of the 90s, it struggled to find an audience. Set against the backdrop of the millennium's end, Strange Days explores the voyeuristic dangers of new technology without sliding into moral lectures. The story imagines a device that lets people experience the lives of others, from sex and crime to outright violence. Ralph Fiennes plays Lenny Nero, a shady dealer of these recordings, who finds himself pulled into a disturbing conspiracy after a disc containing what appears to be a murder comes his way. Unlike the glossy, overloaded visions of the decade, Bigelow's Los Angeles feels authentic and lived in, while the technology is shown without flashy CGI, giving the film a more grounded look. Set in the future, Ghost in the Shell tells a story about the integration of artificial intelligence into society and the blurred line between human and machine. Most characters live in bodies that are at least partly artificial, raising the question of whether their identity is still human. The plot follows two agents searching for a hacker responsible for a series of crimes. This mastermind can hack into and control the minds of others, making him difficult to track or stop. Virtual reality here is tied to memory and identity. People can erase or change their past, or even choose new, indestructible bodies, living entirely different lives. Visually striking and conceptually ambitious, Ghost in the Shell combines sleek action with meditations on identity, technology, and control. Its influence would ripple far beyond animation, shaping the look and ideas of later cyberpunk cinema. At the box office, this was the decade's peak. On release, The Matrix looked perfectly in step with the late 90s. Sharp suits, tiny sunglasses, but behind the style was a bold high concept. The Wachowskis drew from anime, philosophy, literature, and Hong Kong action to create a mix of smart ideas and explosive spectacle. Some of the effects may show their age, but the film's blend of cyberpunk story and blockbuster action went on to shape a generation of movies, games, and anime. Cronenberg's late dive into body horror arrived just weeks after The Matrix and instantly suffered in comparison at the box office. But where The Matrix is sleek and explosive, eXistenZ is cold, organic, and unsettling, one of Cronenberg's last true ventures into body horror. The story follows a legendary game designer, played by Jennifer Jason Leigh, who goes on the run with a security guard, played by Jude Law, after an assassination attempt. They escape into a game that leads into yet another simulated reality, creating a dizzying, layered experience. Like so many 90s VR movies, eXistenZ imagines what happens when games are indistinguishable from daily life. But because this is Cronenberg, he also explores the dark, sensual, even erotic charge of that experience. Paranoid, grotesque, and self-aware, the film even jokes about having too many twists, and its thread about a creator hunted by fanatics still feels disturbingly relevant.